Shivani, I won't be able to stay because I have some, medical treatment now.
All right, so thank you so
I'm
much
sorry
for
I won't
joining
be
us
able to.
with your perspective on that story. Meanwhile, let's also take our viewers through who was the illustrator of this racist snake charmer cartoon. So we've taken you through, the paper that was behind this, that published this cartoon. Let's also now take you through who exactly was the illustrator of this cartoon. We have that over here. The name is Marvin Halleraker, and he was born in 1962 in Stavanger, Norway. So born in Norway, his name is Marvin Halleraker. So that is the illustrator that is behind this cartoon. He is a leading Norwegian political cartoonist, educated at Bergen Art Academy. So, and well educated at one of the top universities in Norway. And Aftenposten's full-time staff cartoonist since 2020. So he's been engaged with this daily full-time since 2020. Previously, long-time cartoonist for Bergen's Tidend. So he's a career cartoonist. He's been engaged full-time with Aftenpost specifically since 2020, and we've seen where he's educated. He's born in 1962. He's an award-winning satirist and illustrator known for sharp, detailed, satirical drawings. But of course, that's the question that we're raising, that where do we draw this line between political satire and the sort of stereotyping that we saw in this cartoon by him. Also a visual artist, author and musician. Won Cartoonist of the Year award. So he's an award-winning cartoonist, and he's won awards for his satirical cartoons as well previously, as we've seen, of course. But that brings us back to this specific depiction by him recently in the paper Aftenpost. My colleague Yash Ahuja is joining us for more. Yash, we've taken a look at who exactly this illustrator is. Tell us more about what exactly is his background, and keeping in mind this recent depiction by him in the Norwegian paper.
Yes, Malvika, we just understood who Marvin Halleraker is. He was born on 27th November 1962 in Stavanger, Norway. He is aged 63. He graduated from the Bergen Art Academy. He's a full-time political cartoonist at Aftenposten. He has been employed there since January 2020. He has a nearly 30 to 32 years of experience with Bergen's Tinde from 1990 as a freelancer. He has also contributed to Morgenbladet, Vartland, Klassekampen and other Norwegian outlets. Back to you.
Thank you so much for joining us with those details. We're of course taking a look at this depiction by this Norwegian paper of Prime Minister Modi as a snake charmer. We do in fact have T.K. Rajalakshmi, senior journalist, joining us on the broadcast. Thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with us. We're of course taking a look at this cartoon, in this Norwegian paper called Aftenpost, which has depicted Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a snake charmer. And when we speak about such political cartoons, they're often peddled as satire. But the question right now is, where do we draw the line? Like when blatantly racist stereotypes are being used to depict, when do we stop calling it satire and call it for the racist stereotype that it is?
Thank you, Malavika, for having me on the on the program. First of all, I do not think that it's exactly racist. It's okay. It's satire, yes. But on the other hand, we need not be so thin-skinned also about such political satire, because in fact the U.S. president, the Chinese president, the North Korean president, and we have thousands of examples where in fact they are regularly lampooned, and in fact Trump is called orange head. I mean we have Biden, who was called Sleepy Joe. Okay, and of course run worse. Of course, threatening, threatening depiction or threatening, or they say words, or terms, they are considered an offense in the U.S. But political lampooning or satire is not considered an offense. So I think that we need not be so squeamish, about this, Malavika. We are, of course, the largest democracy in the world. So we might as well, apply those, yardsticks of free speech. If we sort of maintain us to be one. As far as other things are concerned, of course, our MEA secretary, he did put up let's say a brave and a strong, in fact, defense of all that India stands for. But let us face it, in fact, despite the fact that we have an excellent constitution, the constitutional guarantees to the vast, in fact, majority of people in this country are still to be, in fact, delivered, isn't it? So I'm saying that even as we,
But ma'am, when we speak about, what you rightly said, of course there needs to be freedom of press or freedom to of people to express themselves. But this is a very, a colonial era imagery that is being used. So that is my question. Where do we draw the line? Of course, we need to give people the freedom to express themselves, and this whole deal that is being made about press freedom, but there does need to be a line that is drawn somewhere. And with this blatantly colonial era display of India, this very stereotypical imagery, that is my question, because we've seen he's a career cartoonist. He's made cartoons depicting many world leaders, including Putin, including Trump. But nowhere do we see this kind of specific stereotype being used. Why is it that when it comes to many, like specifically Asian, Southeast Asian countries, it is that these Western media comes back to this very specific sort of imagery? That is the question that we're asking right now.
The fact that there are several issues with the Western democracies too. It's not that they are perfect, okay? They are in fact arrogant, and they do in fact look down upon developing countries in a certain way. And of course, India falls in that also falls in that category, right? But as I said, we in fact need not be similarly arrogant as they are. And secondly, we also have to face it also that we have issues. We have issues here, Malavika. We have issues. Okay, of course, we in fact did not have developed power saying that to us. But we need to introspect as well, because we have superstition related killings. We have honor killings. We have issues. In fact, even name it. We have them. But obviously, we wouldn't want some others telling us that these are your issues. But at the same time, I think we need not be so thin-skinned also to such in fact depictions. We can laugh it off. We did not come up with a counter to say no. All is well in our country, when we know inside ourselves that all is not well. So why obfuscate, and for whom? So this whole idea about putting an image in front of the world of what we are not, is really not necessary, Malavika.
Absolutely,
frankly, this is my opinion.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you for joining us with your perspective on that as well. So, of course, when we speak about this depiction in media, we've taken a look at who exactly was the illustrator behind this cartoon. We've taken a look at the paper that has published this cartoon. Let's now also turn our attention to, this is not the first time that Western media has posted something racist and